what day is today? Let me take a freaking look. Wednesday, February 18th. So I'm pretty sure there's only 28 days of this February. So would that mean 16 days out or 17 days out? I don't know. Either. I'm going to put up a calendar on my desk, like a really big one, and do like the red X of like each day with a big circle on actual comp day. But I mean, you tell me if you think this is getting ahead of myself. But I'm getting really excited about carbing up. Like I'm just sitting thinking about how good it's gonna feel to really fucking fill up with carbs pre-show. Not even the show competing part, but the carbing up part, just the day before and kind of the day of. So kind of for twofold. So I've got two reasons why I'm excited about March 5th, which is going to be check-in day. That's when I come in, everybody's going to get their height measured and their weight measured to make sure that we're all within specs. So if you didn't know how it works, with bodybuilding, I don't know about men's physique because they're not so... Like, men's physique judges based on like your overall look for the purpose of having like the men's physique look. I don't think they have weight limits. But if someone there's a whole controversy about a guy who competed in men's physique who was like massive, and then I don't remember. But for open bodybuilding, right, for the really serious big dudes, they don't have, at least in the pro level, I don't think they have any weight caps whatsoever. It's just you're in open. All you got to do is show up and look your craziest look. You know, I'm not trying to undermine that, but I'm saying they don't have a weight limit. They don't have to. They can be as big as they freaking want, or as big as they can get, more so. But with classic, the way that they keep it a little more, I don't want to say fair, but just kind of more proportional in the sense of, like, a 5-foot guy can still compete with a 6-foot guy, is every inch of height that, you know, somebody heights in at gives them a different weight limit, usually the day before the competition. So for me, I'm going to height in at that 5'11" to 6-foot range. I'm right in the middle of there-ish. So that means for my pro weight cap, I have to get on the scale and be 227 or below. Otherwise, you're not just instantly disqualified, but you'd have to like go sweat and lose weight and then come back in like an hour to make your weight. Like, there's like a window of time. It's not like at the UFC where you just, even then I think they have a window. Either way, so that's how it works. Like, if someone is 5'10" and a half, they're in that 5'10" to 5'11" height category, then I think they get to weigh like 218. I think it's like 9-pound increments either way. So that's how it kind of, balances out. So if somebody's 6'3", obviously, if they weighed the same as me on stage, I would look bigger because I'd be denser. So that's kind of how they keep it fair. But that the kind of midday of the 5th is when I'm going to check in, and once I weigh in and I'm under my weight limit, because what I'm going to do is essentially kind of not fast, but I'm going to stop drinking water a little bit the night beforehand so that I dry out a little. And in that drying out process, I'll lose a couple of pounds of water, which will put me under that weight cap, so I'll be good. But afterward, I get to eat a freaking crap ton of carbs, like an insane amount of carbs, because my goal from weigh-ins to prejudging to finals is get as big as I can without like spilling over and looking too watery. So I'm not just gonna go eat like a Cane's combo and a bunch of fries or anything. Like, you got to be kind of specific about what you're eating, but really carb freaking central. I'm mostly gonna eat like basic carbs, like cream of rice. Definitely, hundreds of grams worth of cream of rice, just because easily digestible. It's not going to totally fluctuate my blood sugar as bad as like if I ate 1,000 grams of carbs of like straight up candy or anything. But I can also have some sweets too. Like I'm definitely going to have a like a little pint of like sorbet, like just fruit, sugar only, like just all sorts of stuff. But basically, I can have probably minimum 1,000, 1,500. I'll just have to see as I eat it, and see how I change visually. But I mean, I just get to open the floodgates and get as full as possible. So I'm for my last two shows, my stage weight was about 225. So this show, I think I'm going to be walking on stage closer to like probably 235, maybe more. Well, I'll see how full I can actually get, and as long as I still stay dry, I mean, I can keep pushing carbs hard. So if I walked on stage at 238 for me, I mean, that's freaking nuts. But probably something closer to 235, which is really it really kind of makes me excited, because that means that on stage I'm going to be bigger than I am right now. I'm walking into the gym today at 229. So yeah, no, that's just going to be freaking awesome. But let's not think about that. Even though we're getting close, barely over 2 weeks away, that's not 2 weeks of just dilly-dallying. This is still kind of 2 weeks of really clocking it in. Not that I haven't been locked in this whole time, but the difference now is there is no, well, I mean, I guess I could go off plan a little bit. It wouldn't like destroy my prep or anything. But right now there's no refeeds. There's no like, okay, I'm going to have an extra 500 grams of carbs today, and come in full for the workout tomorrow. Like there's none of that. So going forward for these next 2 weeks before I start fluctuating my water, the few days before the show, it's essentially just going to be a stable 2,500 calories per day. Maybe I'll drop it a little bit. But yeah, I think just about 25, maybe 24 next week. We'll see. And then my 2 hours of cardio, an hour in the morning, an hour at night. I think I'm just going to do the treadmill at this point. The bike, I can tell, is making my quads a little bit too sore, like my quads and my glutes, because it's just so like pressing intensive. Obviously, like not a lot, but when you're doing hours, it does start to add up. So yeah, I think just 2 hours of the treadmill per day is gonna be what I need, and not wild. I'm not doing sprints. 3 miles an hour, 5% incline. Like that's actually not doing it is the harder part. Actually, just sitting there walking, not really that hard. It's more so like, okay, I'm gonna sit here for an hour, and I'm not just gonna get off and whatever else. So I've got a pretty good tolerance for cardio at this point. For one, just because I've done it for so long, and actually really that's just it, because I've done it for so long, I'm used to it. But yeah, if you take that as anything, what's so bad about 30 minutes per day? I'm doing freaking 2 hours. 30 minutes passes like nothing. Like once these shows are over and I go back to doing 30 minutes of cardio a day, I'm going to feel like I'm doing no cardio at all, because 30 will seem so insignificant. I'm not just going to drop it straight to 30. I'm going to kind of ease into it. Maybe just drop it to an hour and a half first, and then an hour. But going forward, I don't think an hour of cardio a day would really hurt, even in an off season trying to gain weight, because I can out eat the calorie effects of an hour of cardio. Like it's not hard to undo the energy burning effects of just 1 hour on the freaking treadmill. So I think that might be that was probably what I should do going forward. We'll see. That's far into the future. I'm not thinking 3 months ahead right now. I'm thinking day by day. So today is going to start with some arms. I'm not going to go too heavy. Sometimes I say that and then I still come in and I do like 70-pound curls or like 60. Now especially light squeezing is the trick for me. So I don't know if I want to do a superset day. I think a superset, like triceps, biceps with no rest in between, that's probably a little bit too much. I can tell it kind of winds me a little bit more. And I don't mean wind like I'm sitting in between sets dying, but I can tell it kind of just like takes away from the value of each set. So I'll see. That's my decision to kind of come up with between now and actually pulling up and parking and getting warmed up, is do I want to do all of triceps and then all of biceps, all of biceps and then all of triceps, or some kind of combination in between where maybe I do 3 sets of triceps, 3 sets of biceps, and then 2 sets of biceps, and then 2 sets of triceps, 2 sets of biceps, 1 set of tris, 1 set of bis, and then a superset finisher, or just be done at the end. That's actually, saying it out loud, I think that might be what I go with. So if you ever want to change up your arm day, that's a pretty good setup, you know. And you don't have to do anything super specific. Like if you like the rope, you like doing rope extensions, all right, 3 sets of rope extensions. Then pick a curl, preacher, dumbbell, cable, anything. 3 sets of curls, and then 2 sets of a tricep movement, back and forth until you're fully pumped. That's kind of a best of both worlds, because you get to give your triceps the attention that they deserve and your biceps the attention that they deserve individually, whilst getting them both pumped up all the way at the same time. Because once you've had a complete arm pump, once your triceps and your biceps are both fully pumped at the same time, it's hard not to want to chase that feeling, you know. Like especially in an off season too. Like when I'm bulking up, I don't even do arm days like I'm going to do today. So I'm decided I'm going to do that 3 method. But I don't even do tris and bis at the same time, because I feel like I get too pumped. Like I've actually felt my arms got so swollen, it took away from the quality of the workout. And then I should just do all of one first and then all of the other afterward. So yeah, that'll be for me to think about in the summertime, once I really start getting a little more carbs in my system. But a little bit gloomy. It's not going to take away from the pump though. So let's get started. All right, so instead of starting with a curl, well, this is still basically a curl. It's just kind of a different version. I'm going to start with bicep biased pull downs. So I'm using an easy bar here. If you want to use a straight bar, you're cool too. But the basic gist is, instead of a pull down where you're trying to pull with your elbows and really feel your lats squeezing, I'm just trying to use my biceps here. So even though I'm like doing this pull down motion, I don't want my lats engaged at all. Like I'm trying to keep them completely relaxed and only focus on squeezing my bicep and pulling this thing towards my shoulders. So this is the motion, not down here. And in terms of a bicep squeeze, it's pretty good. So I'll start with 3 of these and we'll just go from there. Okay. Oh, 2 more. Yeah. 2. 2. Okay. All right, 1 more, and then I'm gonna grab the rope for some push downs. Same thing, light and squeezing. Okay. Ooh, okay. Yeah. That was a perfect 3 opening sets. All right, let's grab the rope and keep going. I don't want to slow down the momentum. Same thing, just a good burn at the bottom. Yeah. 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 Okay. 2 more of those. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's actually stay right here and just do a rope cable curl. Yeah, same weight too. Perfect. These won't be so squeezing, a little quicker, nastier. Not that nasty, but you know. Okay. One more of those. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go over yonder. You'll see. All right. This push down will be freaking solid. And even after only doing 3 sets of triceps and 3 sets of tries and 5 sets of buys, I feel like I'm almost all the way fully pumped. So, just a little bit more. Come on. All right. Holy crap. Ooh, yeah. One more of those. I think there's only a need for one more superset after this. Then we get posed down. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I've got an idea for how to end this thing. Let's pump out just like 10 or 15 reps of the rope, and then immediately throw down the 40s for some dumbbell curls, and then that will be it. So let's just get to it. Okay. Something like that. Okay. Ooh, shit. All right. Yeah, that is friggin' all. Let's find some lighting. All right. Just from feeling my biceps on those 40-pound curls, I think that I may have overdone it just a little bit with those bicep bias pull downs to start. I probably didn't need to do all of that. I honestly probably could have just skipped that last set of dumbbell curls and then just called it there. But I don't think I overdid it by too big of a margin. So I think we're still freaking good. But let's see how we're looking over here. Let's make sure we're actually in focus. Very important. Yeah, nice. There we go. Actually, is this better? I know I'm being like, particular, like, oh, am I in focus? But I want to be able to look back at this video in the future, and I want it to look freaking cool. There we go. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So I'd say I'm just about in at least some of the craziest lighting I can get in here. So let's see how we're looking. Yeah, we're cooking with gas now. That is for freaking sure. But yeah, even just standing without posing, especially with an arm pump, because it just makes my arms look so much more like brolic and hanging off my shoulders. I mean, it's just a good freaking feeling. But I don't want to delay my cardio too much. The sooner I do it, the sooner it's done. So I'm going to go get that started, and then I'll see you in the freaking car. There we go. Yeah, between the lift and cardio, I was feeling pretty freaking hungry. And that's when I remembered that bag of beef jerky that I got in the grocery video. I didn't take that into the house. I put that in the freaking glove box. So my little post-workout pre-cardio meal was about 80 grams of protein from that beef jerky and 60 grams of carbs because it had a bunch of added sugar to, make it extra sweet, which is certainly more than typical from what I'd want to eat. Like, I wouldn't want to bust out a bag of Skittles right now, but the fact that it's kind of in tandem with the jerky, I'm about to do my cardio, so whatever kind of like blood sugar fluctuation I'm going to have since I'm about to do the treadmill and the bike, it's not such a big thing. But yeah, I need most of my carbs now. I want to be much more plain and simple. I'm talking the rice cakes, oatmeal, sort of stuff like that. But no, that was a badass arm day, and I was feeling freaking pumped. That's for sure. Like, I mean, obviously I'm always pumped, but even relatively to normal right now, that arm pump felt very freaking full. So that's good for me. I think that that's at least a good sign that I was relatively well hydrated today and last night, because that's what'll really kind of mess with my, let's just say, my quality of lifts. Because food, not a huge what am I saying here? Not a huge impactor per se on how my workouts are right now, because I'm just I'm not eating a lot of food anyway. Even if I did a workout at like 10 o'clock at night after eating all my meals, well, if anything, by 10 o'clock I'm going to be ready for bed, you know? So there is no time in the day where I feel like I'm full of food and like, you know, super carbed up, ready to lift. So food isn't really going to do it for me, but what I can really make sure that I do so that my workouts feel good is make sure that my hydration is on point, and that I'm at least, you know, fully saturated with as much water as I need, with you know, my electrolyte balance, so that when I come into the gym, I feel good and I don't get like an exertion headache or anything. Like when people talk about that, and I haven't heard anybody say that for a little while, partially just because I've been kind of going a little more like hermit mode, just doing all my lifts in my gym, just because prep's getting a little bit deeper. But anytime anybody's ever told me like, yeah man, I just, you know, doing legs right now, but my head is killing me, you know, I'm hitting chest, but my head is like, every rep I feel like my head's gonna explode, I ask them the same thing. I'm like, okay, how much water did you drink today? And all their answer is like, you know, like zilch. You know, they drank like none. They might have had like a Coke Zero for lunch, and then whatever amount of water they used for their pre-workout. Not even, you know, maybe including the idea that they might have just dry scooped it with like a few sips of water. So now their fluid intake is like super freaking low. You know, when we talk about like sodium as being a problem, like, oh, you know, careful with that, it's high sodium. Like, no, the problem isn't high sodium. I could eat 30 grams worth of salt over the course of today if I also drank, you know, however many gallons of water to kind of balance that out, right? Because the issue with your sodium intake is just the density of sodium for the amount of water that you're drinking, right? So if I have something, you know, a pretty salty meal, but I also drink 2 liters of water at the same time, then it's kind of going to dilute, and it's going to just sort of balance itself out, where any extra, I'm just going to kind of pee off, you know? Like, that's why you can't drink salt water, or at least you can't actually get hydrated from drinking salt water, because the ratio of salt to water is just too high in salt's favor. We're slamming electrolyte drinks all the time. Like, I don't, somebody commented this, which is kind of funny. It's like, there's so much hate on sodium, like, oh, careful, high sodium. But then there's also so much love for electrolytes. It's like, oh, make sure you get your electrolytes in, you know, and stay hydrated. As though sodium's not an electrolyte, you know? So it's just a weird, at the end of the day, it's just another dieting advertising gimmick, because you can put on food labels, low sodium. Oh, low sodium snack, you know, 0 sodium, or like things like that, as though that's just a gimmick for sale. You know, and a lot of those things are just ingrained in how we, you know, in how we think about food, just because that's all we ever see about it. You know, most people don't get the gist of like what's actually happening when they eat, you know, a bag of, or just like drinking a full sugar Coke, or, you know, eating any kind of regular meal. Like, they don't get the idea of how these calories and macros are actually like being absorbed and used in their body, you know? Like, you might see somebody drink, or you might see like a hockey player or something drinking Coke in between, you know, sessions at a game, and a regular schmo is gonna be like, oh man, what the hell? What is he drinking that for? That's not good for you. Like, as though the dude's not just getting a good kind of carb replenishment plus a little bit of caffeine from the drink, you know? So it's something where you got to kind of learn the rules to play the game. And then once you do, you've got a much easier time, you know? Like, it would suck for me to go through all these dieting phases that I do if I didn't have an understanding of calories and macros, And if all I did was like read through a cookbook, or like somehow, let's say I had a coach and he's like giving me specific meals, like if I didn't understand the reasoning of like, reducing my carb intake and different like fat control and things like that, I'd have no fun, and I feel like I had no idea what was going on, So I guess that's my main point, is try to get a grasp of what's even going on with your macros, because then it just makes it easier to, diet either up or down, and you're going to kind of understand why you're doing it. And if you can understand why you're doing something, I think it's much easier to go harder at it, because you get the reason, So take with that what you will. But I'm going to get home, get some freaking food in my system, probably take a post-cardio nap, get ready for one more hour cardio later, and then I'll freaking see you tomorrow.